Ansel, Ben Lamb, Amy. I need Maggie Q, and Mackay Pfeiffer, and Christian Madsen.
Thank you.
You totally ruined the
There you
whole
go.
You said when you say your name, come out. You said my name, and I came out.
Yeah, he fucked it up.
Into a microphone.
Does it matter where we sit? Oh, okay.
Fine.
That's what it was. It looks like I'm fucking
Drinking coffee, but it's really tortillas.
really
Wait, I should take
Please, Elvis.
Hey Ben, we should take the wrappers off.
Hello? Take a what?
Take your wrapper off the water.
Oh,
Hi, welcome to the Last Supper of Divergent.
Last supper.
Okay, on the far end is Zoe, Ben Lloyd Hughes, Ansel, Amy, Christian, Maggie Q, Ben Lamb, Mackay Pfeiffer, Miles.
I like how some of us have last names and some of us don't.
Who's first?
Someone's recorder is playing up here.
It's playing back.
You're all in my panorama.
I don't.
Hey guys, Mark Walters of BigFanboy.com. I'm honored to have the first question. Thank you very much for coming to Comic-Con. Can you talk a little bit about working with Neil Berger and what it is that he kind of brought to this, and maybe individual experiences that each of you had, if you want to just go one by one on that?
Did you say Neil Burger?
Yeah.
Who's Neil Burger?
Which end?
Do we do one at a time, did you say?
All the same
Okay, I'll
time.
start.
No,
I
all,
think,
all at the same time, Ansel.
1, 2, 3, go.
Do it how we rehearse, guys.
I'll go first. Neil Berger, I loved his film Limitless, which I went to see in the cinema, and then I watched again once I knew I had this job, and I was so excited to work with him because I thought he was so right for the story and for what he could bring to it, which is his artistic vision. And if you saw Limitless, he had such a style and unique vision to some of the shots and the way he told the story. So that was great. And then his vibe on set was just totally chilled. I think he has Hawaiian roots or background, and he just had such a laid-back, calm aura throughout. He never changed. He never lost his sense of calm. And I really appreciated working with him. Good luck matching that, guys.
Yeah. I think Neil's a very stylized director. He's very professional. I think we were in good hands because we saw his last films, and they speak for themselves, like Limitless, and it's beautiful to look at. To explain Neil in a kind of a sentence or whatever, I think if you're having a conversation with Neil and a car accident happens next to you, he's not going to leave eye contact because he's so focused. And there'd be times where we'd be on set and we'd just be like, kind of didn't know what to do, and Neil was always there to kind of guide us, and I think we were in good hands. To have Doug and Lucy and everybody, we were just a pretty magical experience.
Yeah, and to add on to what Christian was saying,
Thank you, Miles.
You're welcome. You were fantastic. I loved everything you said. There's only a certain amount of directors that can handle a big $80 million, dollar film or whatever the final number is. I forget because they paid me so much. But it is. And before you do a movie like this, he hadn't had that kind of experience. I think he showed that he can build that world in Limitless. Limitless looked a lot bigger than what the budget was on it. So Neil's got a great eye. We had really great cameramen, and the world that we created, I think people are going to be pretty excited about once they see it.
I concur. I think Neil is wonderful. Definitely a visionary, a man who kind of knows what he wants, but still allows you to bring your input to the table and create something magical. I like to call him the man of 1,000 takes, because he'll shoot it until he gets it. He'll shoot it until he gets it, I tell you that. The editor should have no problems. No, but really just a great guy. Kudos to Lucy and Doug. They just were backbone of the production. And I think that we all had a great time, and I think we all learned a lot, and looking forward to seeing the final product.
A little bit for someone else.
Right?
I think as an actor, it's like you want a director who makes you feel comfortable in a place that you can really create and try a lot of different things. And Neil always made me feel like I could create and try the scene in many different ways. And I felt like he was always on my side as a director.
He touched me.
Everywhere.
Emotionally,
Call
every
the
day.
cops.
There's something negative about the others. I think to Neil's credit that there's a lot of us here, and not even all of us are here. You have a lot of different actors at different levels and different ages and different this and different that, and that's hard. There are moments where I actually feel bad for someone who has to deal with all of us. Because we all have our own ideas about what we want to do, and we feel strongly about certain things. And he was very kind and diplomatic in that process, and that can be very frustrating. I'm sure he wanted to punch us all in the face at some point, when we were, trying to develop what we were doing and going back and forth and back and forth. That is the process, and it can sometimes be painful. But I think that, for somebody to handle all that coming at him the way that he did. It made me really like him and respect him a lot in that sense, for sure.
And I think also when you have a director who does have such a strong visual idea, often they won't necessarily be so interested in the acting side. But I think what's quite unusual about Neil is that every single note that he gives will ameliorate your performance. Like it just gets better and better with every note that he gives.
For Miles and anyone else on the cast who'd like to add to it, we know how small some Hollywood circles can be, and you can see a lot of the same people get called on a lot of the same auditions even. Have you had a chance to talk to any of your colleagues who have also been a part of literary franchise movies? What was their advice, and if not, what sort of things would you want to ask them about getting involved in something like this?
Yeah, I have a lot of friends, so I had a lot of people to talk to. No, I mean, I don't...
They don't think so, but...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really... Yeah, so I had like a buddy or two that was in the Twilight franchise, and yeah, they said that it does, your life does change. And I think Shailene is kind of realizing it for the first time. She just got done filming, like a day or two ago. And it's big for all of us, but for Shailene to really be the face of this franchise and to come down to Comic-Con and see the big poster and see all the people here and how big this thing could get. You obviously have no idea, but if it does go like some of these other franchises have gone, you are trading in a lot of your personal life. And there is going to be people taking pictures of you, and it does change. So at the same time, you want your work to be seen. It's a trade-off, but I think we're all happy to be a part of Divergent. I think it's something that we'll look back on with a lot of good memories.
Yes, we're here. Rama, just want to ask, when it comes to a literary franchise like this, what are some of your fears when it comes to approaching the characters that, of course this has a huge fan base, so, we want to please the readers as well, so how do you approach that?
With respect for their appreciation and love for the project. And I think we all had unique characters that were loved for their own different reasons. So, I know that when I read the book, it said that Will was blonde. And I'm not blonde, so that was something I had to get through my own personal journey. And hopefully the fans, because there are, such a passionate and amazing fan base, they can watch the film and be happy with what's been done. And I think everyone was cast here for how right they were for the character. And that was, I think, an amazing thing that the producers and the director did, which was cast the right actor, the best actor for the role, rather than just some cool actors who would be good to be in a film with. And hopefully the character portrayals will come out in that.
Question over there on the right.
This is for Miles. I got to see you and Shailene in Spectacular Now at the LA Film Festival, and how was taking what you guys did in that movie, which was so small, what did you take from your relationship there and bring to this film?
Well, really, this movie is just a continuation of our last movie, and it's just, you're in love one minute, and then the next minute you're out of love, and you fall in and out of love. So It was no. Shailene's a great actress, and I think that for that, for your love interest, there's only a certain amount of actresses maybe that you get a chance to work with, and I'm lucky that it's been Shailene for 2 of these movies. I think she's one of the most talented actresses around, and it's easy. I mean, she's just very she's very pretty, and we're comfortable with each other. And yeah, man, I don't know. It's hard to talk about it.
You're really good at this.
No, but she's great, and I'm lucky.
Hi, my name is Sarah Kizak. I'm with the MacGuffin podcast, and my question is for Makai. People know you obviously from ER. You were on it for several years. So
yes,
this
I've
is
saved many lives.
This is
many lives have been saved on my watch, baby.
So this is a total departure for you. So what made you decide to kind of go into this genre of movie?
Well, I wish it was as simple as me deciding, but they decided for me. But it's a great genre to be a part of. I mean, to have a film of this magnitude and of this genre. I have a 14-year-old son who has never been excited about anything I've ever done in the past, except bringing home a check so he can go to Disneyland. But he's really a fan of the book Divergent. And so he's really excited about that. So that was one thing that, one of the many things that helped motivate me to really be excited about it was that he was actually going to be excited about something that I did. So he's part of that motivation.
Hi, my name is Frank Lane, and I'm from futurepreviews.com. And this is for the whole cast. Someone can answer if you guys have, since this is going to be a really big hit, are you guys signed on to do the sequel?
I'm psyched, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, because we met all these awesome people, like, I only got to work with Kate Winslet for 2 days, yet I really enjoyed both those days. I know in the sequel we get to do more work together. I'm sad that my mom and my dad die in this, because I really liked working with Tony and Ashley.
Don't ruin
it. Spoiler alert.
So that's too bad that I don't get to work with them anymore, but I'm looking forward to working with Kate again.
Not everybody on this panel lives, so that's a loaded question. But I'm excited.
Hey guys, some of you I've met on the set, and one thing I didn't get a chance to. The author Veronica wasn't there. How much? Because when you talk to the people from Harry Potter and from Twilight about the author was able to give them insights into their character. How much did she help inform each of you in some capacity about things because she has in her head the further stories that are going to go on? Just feel free to jump in, whoever. We'll do it alphabetical.
We're all like, who?
I mean, I think it helped a lot having Veronica on set with us. We were able to stay as true to the book as we could. I think for any situation to have the person that created the material kind of take that journey with you, it helps a lot. So, but also she was open to, us finding our own way in some of the characters and, and that stuff. So, yeah, it was very helpful.
I think she was very respectful, though. It was amazing that she was invited to be a part of it, not kind of left out, but she was also, in my interaction with her, very respectful of that this was a film being made and she wasn't going to start, giving notes or leaving things in our trailers about how she'd like to give us some notes separately or,
That was really nice.
So, Miles, if you want to take over right there and bring up that story.
Veronica came on set one day.
Okay, this is it.
And we all met her for the first time, and Ben Lloyd Hughes goes back to his trailer at the end of the day, and there's a balloon and a card in there. And it says, "Dearest Ben, it was such a pleasure meeting you. You're such a lovely young man. I would love to get a drink and talk further about your character. Love, Veronica." And the phone number. Well, the phone number was my buddy's phone. And Ben thought his character was coming back to life, and I felt really bad because he was so excited. He's like, "Man, Veronica really liked me, and I think, maybe Will's going to have a spin-off." And then I felt bad for
It was a
pranking him.
sitcom.
Wait a minute, you felt bad?
I felt bad.
You
yeah.
did not feel bad.
I
Feel
felt
bad at all.
I
felt bad. and
Zoe
I
ratted
was
us
afraid.
out.
But anyway,
Zoe really
Veronica
did
is
feel
just really great to have on set, and it is. I mean, if you're going to pick somebody's brain about Divergent,
Yeah.
you know, it's great that the author was on set. 'Cause a lot of the times, once a book's made into a movie, that author's not really on set. They, you know, now it's our story. But I think we're very open to having her along. I know I picked her brain as much as I could. No, I can't.
She didn't really do that. She kind of just.
Draw in the air.
You did ask her one question though, Mars, remember? You asked her one question, which was who did she regret killing off?
Right, and she said your character, and then from there I was like, now I have to put a balloon and a card in your room, so you think you're coming back to life.
In fairness to this, everyone should know that the girl sitting next to me, Zoe Kravitz, was the one with the conscience who finally revealed that it was a prank. So
Snitches
credit
get
has to be done.
But I'm also in trouble with that end of the table.
Yeah.
So this question is for Ansel. When you realized that you were going to be part of not just one big movie adaptation, but two, what was the first thing that went through your mind?
I was really excited because Fault in Our Stars is a really good story, and one of my favorite books I ever read. And I loved working with Shay on Divergent, and I was really excited to be able to do more projects with her. You know, it was like a shame that I was only able to do one thing because like she probably is at this point the best actress I've ever worked with. So I know we're both very excited about doing Fault.
Hi, guys and girls. Can you talk a little bit about what you think, what makes Divergent such an important story to tell? I mean, for a change, it doesn't have vampires or werewolves in it, and no zombies either. We added all that stuff in.
Yeah,
it's in there now.
You think it does.
Actually
We
really
now have
exciting.
zombies.
So what makes it important to tell this story?
Amy, why don't you?
Amy, that's
Oh, wow.
great.
Well, I think something that's really kind of awesome about Divergent is that it is about young people and gives importance to the decisions that they make. I think sometimes teenagers or young adults tend to get maybe brushed to the side a little bit, not given the power that they actually do hold or not acknowledged for the power that they hold. So I like that about the story, and I think it's important because maybe we're not so far away from the world of Divergent. We tend to maybe compartmentalize people a little bit or make them one-dimensional in our minds, and they're just not. So yeah, I think it's a kind of beautiful thing that Veronica's created, sort of an outlet to talk about those things.
That was well put.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
I was wondering, you're all very young, but was there a moment in your lives where you felt that you diverged into a different area, something that made an impact that changed your lives maybe?
This movie.
What the path of.
Yeah, I think me personally, I remember the decision that I made as a young person to become an actor. It was something that when I read the story and when I read the script, I realized that I, in a way, had made a life-changing decision about my future, about what I wanted to be, and about not going to. I had a place at university. I didn't go to university, and I went a different way, a completely different path, and that. I think that's something that all young people do in some shape or form, whether it's a small decision or a big decision, and that's why the story can be so powerful to so many people, because we've all had those moments at some point.
I think it's cool too because a lot of us, for me at least, like I was on a completely different path before I entered this film, got this part, and I think being in a cast of people who are younger and relatively new, it was cool to sort of be alongside them in having similar experiences. I was a nursing student and I was working at my church, so yeah. But yeah, I mean, my story's not dissimilar to some of the other people at this table, you know, just a complete shift, you know, a change in our lives because of this opportunity. So that's been cool.
Anyone else or up here?
Hi, this is question is for Maggie Q. Maggie is here. So you have experience working on sci-fi and action movies, and can you talk about this character? How different is she that compared to Nikita or other role that you played? Is she like a cool, sexy figure?
Oh, sexy. You know, I don't do any action in this film. It was really funny because Ansel, was it me and you? We were on the carpet and somebody said, so Maggie, we know you do action in this, but Ansel, like, did you ever get to do anything? And he's like, actually, I do. And I was like, I didn't do anything. It was like the complete opposite. This was a nice kind of departure. I mean, I'm sure there will be action in the future in the second one or whatever, but I mean, it was funny because I didn't want to get involved in something that was action heavy after, you know, so 10 months out of the year doing action all the time. And not because I don't love it, just because, you know, it's a box, you know. I'm climbing out of it, but you know, it's a little deep. So when I actually read the script, I was just like shocked and happy that it was this, you know, sort of just straight drama and you know, no action and none of that, you know, having to do with sort of what the character sort of encompassed, right? There's a strength to her and there's a toughness to her, but it's something sort of very internal, and she's very much a product of her circumstance, and so that's where that kind of that survivor thing comes, and you see it. And I know that I hope we gear up for a second one, but it was really funny because I was training to do this film for the look of it, because I wanted Tori to look like a kind of muscly badass, and it's so vain and weird for me to train to look a certain way, because I only trained, you know, for a result, to be good at something, but I've never trained just to look a certain way. It was really odd. But yeah, it's been a nice departure for me, and I'm actually really, really thrilled at the opportunity.
I only train to look good. So that's where we're different.
What happened?
Burn, Maggie Q. I let myself go. I'll be honest with you, I let myself go after this movie.
Hi, Grace.
Core is overrated.
Over in the far right, and this is the last question.
Okay, great. Thank you. Grace Randolph with YouTube's Beyond the Trailer. I'm wondering, you know, movies are not only getting bigger these days, but so are casts. As an actor, how is it to, you know, you want to balance being part of a group, creating a world, but also standing out, obviously. So how are you doing that in Divergent?
Well, this was interesting sorry, did you want to go?
I just knew you were going to say something.
Okay. Well, you know, someone's got to say something. Hi, guys. So, no, this is interesting because it is rare, at least, I mean, for me anyway, it's rare to be in such a big group. And you look down here and it's a lot of guys all about the same age. And all your characters have your own storyline. But at the same time, for a lot of this stuff, you know, we're a part of this initiation. We're a part of this, you know, kind of dauntless training program. So that was cool. It really reminded me of high school theater when you're all on the same age, you're playing dads, moms, this and that, but you do have that kind of ensemble feel. The last kind of, I guess, you know, usually movies, if you're that guy at that age, you're kind of the only one, but for this, it was all of us there, and we all went up and started training together and sweating together, and it was a lot of fun.
Anyone else?
Sweating
I think also the characters are so well defined that in fact you're not thinking about how you're going to stand out. You're thinking about how you're going to play the character to the best of your ability, and that you can only really do that with really good writing, which I think this is.
Yeah.
Anyone else? All right, thanks, guys. I think they want to get you all up here for a group photo.
Thank you very much.
Who plays Thor? Our director, Neil Berger, and the author of Divergent and its 2 following books.
Guys, you get to keep one of those. I'm Mark Walters with BigFanboy.com. Thanks for coming out to Comic-Con. I'm really excited about this film. Neil, I've loved your work. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about taking on a project like this. You're known for making great movies with modest budgets, but this is obviously a much bigger project. I was wondering if you could talk about maybe some of the pluses and minuses of working on something that is a grander scale, and then if you guys want to talk about what Neil brought to this project that made it special in your own minds.
So now I'm making a modest movie with a great budget, right? That's what I liked about it was Veronica's book, obviously, and obviously for director, what's wonderful is try to create a new world, you know, a world that's set in the future and create all that visually. But really, what I liked was that what was at the heart of it was the human element of this young woman's journey, which I felt like, yes, it's based on a young adult story, but I felt like it was a universal story about, you know, where do I belong? Who am I? You know, who am I loyal to? Am I loyal to my family? Am I loyal to myself? You know, what am I really willing to go out on a limb for? And I liked all those ideas, and I thought that they were in her book and really tightly tied to the action about what happens. And then I felt like it expanded out to something much larger, which was, you know, how do you keep a society together? You know, at the beginning it seems like they figured it out. They've got this 5-faction system, which is kind of a cool idea, and they seem to be living in peace and harmony because of it, and then it all starts to fall apart. And I liked how the character of Triss, you know, how she goes all through that. So, and I like the fear landscapes. I thought they're really, really cool. So.
Shailene, Rama from On Screen. I just want to ask, I love your shows, love your movies, but can you talk a little bit about being the lead role or lead star of such a big scale project, and also how's it like working with Miles again?
Working with Miles again?
Yeah.
That was awesome. Miles is great. Green screen acting is by far way more difficult than human interaction. So that was a big sort of learning lesson on this movie. It was really fun. I've never done a movie of this scale before with themes this big in a world that's completely different or somewhat different than the world we live in today. And so a lot of it was challenging for me, I found, because I had to sort of erase my preconceived notions of what I was used to acting in movies, you know, which is generally reacting off of somebody else, and sort of create a new world and adapt my style of artistry to the style that this movie sort of lent to, which was really exciting. And Neil created such, well, Veronica originally created such an amazing world, and then Neil visually brought it to fruition in a way that I could have never imagined it. And so it was really, we're so lucky to sort of be pieces in the puzzle of this new dystopian future.
Shailene, on your left. I imagine in the life of a young actor, all of these sort of big franchise properties may come your way. Your agents may send you out for all of them. Had you gone out for any of the other big young adult literary franchises, and what made Divergent the one you wanted? And have you talked to any of your colleagues who've also headlined these sort of big franchises?
I did audition for Hunger Games back in the day, and Jen Lawrence actually helped me with Divergent because I still have yet to meet her, but I asked her sort of about her experience with Hunger Games and how her life has changed and sort of going from small independent movies to something as big as Hunger Games. And she gave me really beautiful advice, just sort of saying how much she appreciated it and how much it's changed her life for the positive, or in a positive ways, and she really kind of helped me on this journey initially.
I went for Star Wars, the new ones, as Chewbacca's son. It's an integral role, so cross fingers.
This question is partly for Veronica, and in your novel you're talking about values like bravery, honesty, being intelligence, and stuff like that. And how does that come from your own faith and philosophy, and how do you bring that to life visually? Because it could be something that could be kind of stale in a movie. It's build big ideas like that.
Yeah, I've always thought of Divergent as a kind of indictment of myself because the virtues are selected based on how I would form my personal utopia. You know, if I were arranging a utopia, it would be a world in which everyone holds themselves accountable and is responsible for their actions, and these are the virtues I would choose. And then the process of writing the book was one of seeing that I would just be like a terrible god of a universe. Just don't do it. Don't give me that responsibility. So, as you know, that's kind of where the world and all of those virtues come from, is just from a very personal place. And as for how to translate it visually, I didn't do that, so. Go on.
My turn? Okay. If you were put into a fear landscape, like as you guys, what would be...
Like right
shown?
now?
Yeah.
This is a fear landscape, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, this is a simulation. You're in our fear landscape.
Oh,
I'm wearing no pants as well.
Yeah, but go on.
Yeah, just like if you as personally, like what would be in your fear landscape?
Lots of bugs, like lots of bugs.
Theo, what are you afraid of?
I
think
thought
that was
you said
the
Theo.
question. Theo.
Hummus, probably, in some kind of way.
Who?
Hummus, you know what you say?
Was that an
Hummus, you
English
say.
thing? What?
Basically, various dips that you put pita bread in. Pita bread. Hummus. Sorry, I said my grandfather's Greek.
Hummus. Hummus.
I'm getting really close to the mic. No, my grandfather's Greek, so he used to say hummus. So that's where I get that from. Anyway, congratulations.
Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Like the fruit.
Shailene, what are you afraid of?
I think, one of Triss's was pretty
I'll
good.
be asking all the questions from now on.
She got pecked by crows. That's pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
I would not like that at all.
My mom picked the crows. Did you know that?
Did she?
I said, spiders or crows? And she said, crows. And
Yeah.
That's how it happened.
I think that's worse than spiders in a way.
Yeah.
That's awful. Ugh.
Way creepier.
Yeah, no, I'm not into that idea.
Hi, this is for Shailene. In the last panel, they talked about how you'll be giving up a lot of your privacy for the role, and you've addressed it here as well. And there'll be positives, but there's also be negatives being such a high-profile project. What do you think will make it worth it about this role?
I mean, I think that the whole anonymity thing is a very interesting concept. But I think that if you lead the life that you want to live and you are the person that you want to be, then there's really not a lot to be afraid of, or there's really not a lot of negatives, because I think you can create a life outside of yourself that sort of this industry is able to infiltrate, but then you create a life inside of yourself that nobody really has access to. And so I'm just excited for it. I'm excited for the future. I know, Theo, you're very afraid. You're so fearful of what's to come.
I'm extremely scared, yeah. Every
Yeah.
day I wake up very scared. No, I think, you have to, doing a big, it's definitely a question you have to really contemplate, and you have to be sure you're going to do it. But, if you're entering something that already has a fan base and has people invested in it, and it has books that obviously Veronica wrote, and they're great pieces of work, I think as long as you put your everything into it and try and make a movie that you are proud of, then the rest hopefully will come with it, and people will be as proud of it as we are proud of it, because we finished literally 2 days ago, so we're kind of very fresh off it, and we feel very proud of it and very excited for people to see in Hall H this piece of footage which Neil and the guys have put together, because I was saying to Shay before, when you're doing a movie, you know what you've done and you know what your colleagues have done, and you've seen bits and bobs, but really until you see something cut is when it's really gratifying, and you say, oh, okay, now I see it in the context of the world, and you can see that it's going to be a really strong piece of work.
Well done. Yeah, what?
Hi, my question is for Shailene. Did you read the book before, over here?
Oh, no. Where are you?
Right here.
Oh, hi.
Did you read the book before you started shooting, and what inspiration were you able to take for your character from the novel, or did you stick strictly to the script?
I read the book. Yeah, I definitely read the book before. I read the book before there was a script that I read. And luckily for me, it was written from Trish's point of view, so Veronica kind of did a lot of the work for me.
Totally different work. Totally different.
Before scenes, I would go back to the book and sort of see what Veronica had put in there in Trish's mind and the mindset behind each scene, and that really helped me a lot get into the emotional stature of where Trish was in that particular place.
Hi, this question is for Veronica. I was here a few years ago when you first were here with your book, when it was sold and bought and you knew it was going to be a film. How is it to be back here now with the film?
Man, it's crazy, because 2 years ago, I did like a very brief little press conference, and I was scared out of my mind. I was sitting at a table just like this, and it was just me, and I was like, okay, how's this gonna go? But this year, it's just so exciting to, have something to share with people and to have that something be so awesome, I think. Yeah, I'm really excited for everyone to see this footage, and I'm excited for them to get to talk to these wonderful people, and it's all been great.
Hi, my name is JJ Duncan. I'm with Zimbio.com, and my question is for Veronica. One of the main things about the concept that jumps out to me is that in my high school, as in a lot of high schools, all the tables are sort of divided up at lunch tables, and the Divergent idea kind of struck me as similar to the high school being divided up like that. What table did you sit at in high school?
Oh, what a question. My high school wasn't one of those like easily dividable high schools. I was a nerd, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. This is a great place to be a nerd. I mean, Comic-Con? Yeah, bring it on.
Hi, this is Katie with Monday Moms, and I have a question for Shailene and for Theo. What is something that you guys admired about the characters you both played?
I had an affinity with the character from the very first time I read anything on it, because I liked, he was different to me because he had a very grounded, quiet sense of masculinity, which I don't think you see much these days, and it's kind of reminiscent of those, in my mind, his character, those old movie stars. I said to Neil, the kind of Paul Newmans, this strong sense of masculinity, but without having to show it, and with being watchful and intelligent, but also encompassing all those traits of someone with strength and a kind of common sense of, a strong sense of being. That was for me.
I really admire Triss's sense of selflessness. I know that she sort of grew up with that, and it was engraved into her at a very young age, but I think that that is a trait that we could use a lot more of in the world today, and I think that, coupled with the bravery that she's sort of forced to call upon, makes for a really profound, complex human, and I really found her admirable in that way.
Hi, Sarah Kizak with the MacGuffin podcast. My question is for Theo. Obviously, not many people have probably heard about you prior to getting this. You were the foreigner flirt from Downton who made a tragic end.
What's Downton?
So what was it like coming into this with, really you weren't on anyone, at least fan-wise, radar for this character?
Wow, interesting question. It was good, actually, for me, because I came in late doors. They had been looking for a long time to kind of fulfill that spot, and they hadn't found anyone. And as soon as I kind of came in and I met Neil and I met Shay, it was a very natural fit, and it happened very quickly. And that is gratifying, because I kind of knew that they had invested in me and found something that they'd been looking for a long time, which is a good place to be in, because you feel safe and you feel gratified and wanted. And he's a tough character to find, I think, because he is young, but he's an old soul, and he has a lot of complexity. So it was good.
Hi, I'm Romancia from TV After Dark. This question is for Neil Berger. Like, how true, as a fan of the books, how true to the books is a movie to the book?
I think it's going to be very true to the book, actually. Obviously, a movie is a different beast than a book, and it's
Are there like going to be a few surprises for fans?
What's that?
Are there going to be a few surprises for fans?
I think so. I think
4 is only in 2 scenes.
I play a small chihuahua. 4 because I have 4 feet.
No, but I think that was the great challenge of making this movie, was to try to fit as much of the book into it, because there's so many characters in the book that are, that have their function in the book and that are kind of beloved, and so many great set pieces, and too many really to fit into a movie. But we really worked hard to to squeeze them all in and to kind of come up with an idea for a movie that was, even more fast-paced than usual and more kind of denser than usual with so many, there's 3 villains and there's, she's got a whole set of, friends, and there's her relationship with her parents and her relationship with Janine Matthews and with, it's real, there's a lot going on in the book, and there's going to be a lot going on in the movie, and that was the real, so it's very faithful to it. Obviously, certain things are kind of smoothed out or combined to make them, so there's sort of one kind of essential dramatic journey in the movie, whereas there might have been more kind of turns in the book, but it's pretty faithful.
Thank you.
Which is exciting.
Quick question for Theo James. I'm a big fan, actually, of your singing. So I know you have a band. Are you going to be doing any of that lately?
I thought you were about to ask me to sing. I was like,
I was,
will.
but
No.
in reference to Divergent. Do you do that in Divergent? Okay, thanks.
Yes, no, that is part of my, yes, I do, on the side, I like to do that. That is kind of something I've done since I was very young, and I did music at college, and that's part of my thing. So yeah, and it's a good way to kind of purge yourself of one kind of work sphere and dive into something else.
It's an a cappella group, right?
Yeah, a cappella hip hop, Euro house beats. I just dance naked in red hot pants, but it's kind of.
Guys, only have time for 2 more questions. I think people already put their hands up.
You're ruining this panel.
Okay, so this is for Veronica.
Sorry, what?
I'm Kyle from Hypable, and I was just curious, when you were writing the book and you were like taking part of this whole process, is there any particular scene in the movie that was so familiar to the book in the way that you imagined it? Like, is there something special that you just loved that they did with the movie?
The scene that felt the most familiar was the Ferris wheel scene, because it was the Ferris wheel that is in Chicago that I wrote about. That Ferris wheel, they were climbing that Ferris wheel on the ladder that I researched to make sure it was there. And it's like, oh, this is exactly right. I mean, a lot of it felt very, very familiar because, as Neil said, I mean, it's very faithful. I was trying to think of pivotal scenes that had been cut the other day, and I was like, I don't really think I can remember any. So, yeah.
Joel Amos from Movie Fanatic. My question is for Shailene and Theo. Now that you just finished filming, literally just the other day, and it may be hard to choose, but was there a best day on set, and what was it?
My favorite day was the fair. Well, there was a lot of good days, man, to be honest. But the Ferris wheel day was pretty special. It was a night shoot, and we climbed this Ferris wheel for probably 12 hours, 13 hours, 12 hours straight.
Yeah.
From
in the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night, and it was also it was the full moon, and it was the first super moon of the year, which I'm such a geek over.
And it was about 38 degrees out as well.
It was so beautiful, and we got to watch the moon go across. It was just a magical moment in life. And how often do you get to climb a Ferris wheel? You never do. So that was probably one of my favorite moments of life.
Wow, that's awesome. It was very special. I'd say mine was the kind of climatic scene of the movie is when Four has been put under this serum, and he's not himself. And Tris, she comes to basically, she comes to save the day, and then there's a fight scene between them, and then she essentially wakes him up through love. It sounds kind of, but it was a very powerful scene, and we were both sweating, and I had my hands round Tris. Shays, I'm getting confused. They're so similar. Around her neck, and there's this moment where we just connect, and it felt very real, and it's also a great way of adding emotionality to a big action set piece, and I think it's going to be a really beautiful part of the movie.
I agree.
All right. Thank you all very much. And
Thanks,
our
guys.
panelists,
Thank you.
stand over here real quick for a photo for everyone down here.
Where are you going?
Talk to the audio guy real quick.
Yeah.